With that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat.
Let's be honest, you're getting paid now, right? Everyone, and I mean everyone, finally has a chance to pull up a chair and watch this unfold. Over the past year, we've seen Sheryl Swoopes go after Caitlin Clark with non-stop criticism, saying she's too old to be a rookie, calling her season overrated, even claiming players don't want to team up with her. The shade has been non-stop, accusation after accusation, but despite all of that noise, Caitlin has kept showing up, performing, and changing the conversation with every single game.
Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies.
That's when Cheryl Miller entered the conversation and completely shifted the energy. The basketball icon and former mentor to Caitlin Clark didn't hold back during her appearance on the All the Smoke podcast. She called out Swoopes directly, labeling her comments as nonsense and tearing apart the tired narrative surrounding Clark's rookie season. Miller wasn't just defending Clark, she was setting the record straight and making it clear that the criticism is baseless. Her words not only put the debate to rest but also hinted at something much bigger brewing in Indiana, something that has Fever fans fired up and looking to the future with real hope. You ready? Let's get into it.
3-time Player of the Year, 2-time National Championship, 2-time Tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
Before we dive into what Cheryl Miller had to say, let's take a moment to ask, why has one of women's basketball's biggest legends made it her mission to criticize the WNBA's most talked about rookie? What's really behind Sheryl Swoopes' ongoing campaign against Caitlin Clark, a crusade that started back in her college days and has followed her all the way into the pros? Let's break it all down.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old.
It all began when Swoopes made a series of wildly inaccurate statements about Caitlin Clark's time at Iowa. One of the most talked about was her claim that Clark was a 25-year-old dominating 20-year-olds in college, a statement that was not only false but easily disproven. In reality, Clark was 22 and competing in her fourth year, just like many other seniors across the country. When confronted about the inaccuracy, Swoopes tried to walk it back, saying it was just exaggeration tied to COVID-era eligibility rules. But that explanation didn't sit right with fans or analysts. It felt more like a deflection than a real defense.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
But Swoopes wasn't done yet. She doubled down by accusing Clark of taking 40 shots per game, trying to paint her as a selfish player who only cared about scoring. In reality, Clark averaged just 22.7 shots per game, a far cry from the exaggerated claim. What made it even more ironic was that Swoopes herself averaged 19.2 shots during her own senior season, only a few fewer than Clark. It was a classic case of throwing stones from a glass house. And when Clark began approaching the all-time NCAA scoring record, Swoopes switched gears again, this time questioning the validity of the record altogether by claiming Clark needed an extra season to achieve it.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
That claim was flat out false. Clark broke the all-time scoring record in just 4 years, the same standard timeline followed by most college athletes. Swoopes conveniently left out that Clark could have used the NCAA's COVID eligibility extension for a 5th year but chose not to. Then, as Clark entered the WNBA, Swoopes confidently predicted she wouldn't make much of an impact. But as the season unfolded, Clark quickly proved her wrong, breaking rookie assist records and emerging as one of the league's most dynamic playmakers. Suddenly, the constant criticism from Swoopes faded. The stats told the story. Clark wrapped up her rookie year averaging 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists per game, quieting the doubters and locking in Rookie of the Year honors.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that season.
Perhaps the most revealing moment came during Swoopes' appearance on Angel Reese's podcast, where she continued to downplay and criticize Clark's accomplishments, all while insisting she had no personal issue with her. It was a textbook example of saying one thing while clearly doing another, and it didn't go unnoticed by fans or analysts paying attention.
I've known Cheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Cheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.
The basketball world quickly began to take notice of the growing pattern, and before long, Swoopes was quietly pulled from broadcasting duties for a Fever game. In her place came Nancy Lieberman, a respected voice in the sport, who didn't hesitate to push back against the false narrative surrounding Clark. Lieberman made it clear she wasn't interested in echoing misinformation. She came with facts, and fans appreciated the difference.
I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend, and I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone, and I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship, it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life.
Fans and analysts across the basketball world had been waiting for someone with real authority to speak up in the ongoing Caitlin Clark debate. That moment came when Cheryl Miller, an icon of the game and someone who had actually coached Clark, stepped into the All the Smoke podcast studio and didn't hold back. What followed was one of the most genuine and powerful defenses of a player we've seen in women's basketball, as Miller tore through the noise and brought clarity to a conversation clouded by bias and misinformation.
Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given.
Critics often overlook a key detail, but Cheryl Miller didn't. She didn't just offer casual support for Caitlin Clark, she brought undeniable fire and authority that only a true legend could. In what's now a viral moment, Miller addressed the wave of negativity from critics like Swoopes with just two unforgettable words: "Come on, you big dummies." The studio exploded in reaction, but that was only the beginning. Miller passionately defended Clark's work ethic, drawing from personal experience as someone who's witnessed it up close. This wasn't just another media personality voicing support, this was one of the greatest basketball players of all time stepping forward to expose the double standards surrounding Clark. She made it clear, the criticism ignores the facts, and it's time someone said it out loud.
Much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
It isn't something she asked for, it's a burden that's been placed on her, not by choice but by the weight of public expectation. In that deeply human moment, Cheryl Miller didn't just offer generic support, she gave Clark the kind of meaningful encouragement that can only come from someone who's lived through the same kind of spotlight. I'm proud of you. Soak this in. Learn from it. But above all, stay true to who you are, Miller told her. These weren't just words of comfort, they were a much-needed anchor for a young athlete navigating one of the most intense rookie seasons in recent memory.
Recently coached the WNBA All-Star game. You spent some time with Caitlin Clark.
Best coaching job ever.
Best coaching job
Best
ever.
coaching job ever.
Being around Caitlin Clark, how was the experience with her? She's such a big star. I mean, the sky's the limit for her. To be around her, just talk about the type of person she is and how much she loves the game.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
It's the uncomfortable truth that many of Caitlin Clark's critics would rather not acknowledge. Her arrival in the league has raised the profile of the entire WNBA. From viewership to ticket sales to overall revenue, Clark's presence has sparked a surge in attention that benefits everyone, including some of the very people who have been the loudest in criticizing her.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised.
Mm-hmm.
And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
What makes Cheryl Miller's defense so impactful is that it isn't based on assumptions or outside opinions, it's grounded in first-hand experience. After coaching Caitlin Clark during the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, Miller had a unique opportunity to assess her skills up close, beyond the viral clips and headlines. And what she saw on the court didn't just confirm Clark's talent, it impressed her on a level she hadn't expected.
Watching her pass, and I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version, thinker. Defensively, a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids.
And sharing her honest reaction. I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth, she said, cutting straight through months of negative media spin with a single, powerful statement. But she didn't stop there. Miller went on to provide rare, first-hand insight into what truly sets Caitlin Clark apart on and off the court.
You can set a screen for Caitlin. Caitlin don't need a screen. Caitlin's got great handles. The one thing that I don't think people really appreciate about that young lady's game, she can pass the ball.
She can't pass. She got great assists.
And
the bounce pass is powerful,
which is almost non-existent in the game.
Behind Miller's sharp analysis of Clark's game lies something even more powerful, a real emotional connection built during some of the toughest moments of Clark's early WNBA journey. When the Indiana Fever finally notched their first win of the 2024 season, Miller wasn't just there to offer congratulations. She gave Clark something few others did, unwavering support at a time when the rookie needed it most.
She was getting hit with everything left and right, and I just said, I hugged her, I said, I'm so proud of you. I go, savor this, use this as a formula. I said, but keep being you. I said, no matter what, keep being you.
That embrace between Miller and Clark after Indiana's first win of the season wasn't just a typical moment between two basketball personalities, it was deeply revealing. It showed just how alone Clark had felt amid the relentless wave of criticism surrounding her WNBA debut. Miller later reflected on that emotional exchange, recalling, I gave her the biggest hug I could. When she saw me, she said, oh man, finally, someone who's on my side. At a time when Clark was being hit from all angles, that moment offered a rare sense of relief and connection.